24-hour game show marathon is back for another record-breaking year. Watch as game show fans recreate 24 of their favorite game shows, all to raise money for Child's Play. Child's Play delivers therapeutic games and technology directly to pediatric hospitals to improve patients' lives through the power of play. Watch the fun Saturday, June 3rd, 2023, and donate now at GameShowMarathon.com.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. Folks, it's our job to give you some interesting bits of real sports, entertainment, odd news, and whatever else we happen to stumble across in this hour-long podcast. I'm Rich Liebig.
And I'm Michael Costanzo.
And we got some topics to discuss in sports, entertainment, and odd news. If you've been following the show, I think you have an idea of what's coming up. But before we get into those topics at hand, Mikey, my friend, how you doing? What's happening in Costanzo country?
Doing good. It was Memorial Day weekend, so, had some time off.
Yeah, that's right. We had Memorial Day weekend.
Had some good cookout food. Got a chance to go to the movies again, this time with some of my my younger cousins. We went to see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I've already seen it, but, I got to see it with them as well and see their reactions, which was fun. Because part of the joy of watching a movie again is really watching how other people react. And, man, I'm telling you, if you guys haven't had a chance to go check it out, I come to appreciate it even more the second time around. It's still a very, very good film. I don't know that it's as good as the first one, but it's damn close. And I'm telling you, I'm watching my cousins and my girlfriend and just, like, tears at some parts. The movie is just just from the start, it's like we're going to make you cry at some point during this movie. Is basically the mission statement. They're like, you will cry at some point. We're going to try our hardest to make your eyes well up. And it succeeds.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy, right. No, it succeeds. It's a very emotionally impactful movie. It's a fun ride, just like the other ones.
We're gonna make you cry.
That's really it. Should have been
Guardians of the Galaxy.
That should have been the ad. Yeah, they don't
cry now.
Exactly in IMAX 3D. You don't need the whole 3-minute trailer. Just we're gonna make you cry.
We're gonna have water misted into your eyes so you will cry.
That's right. Either you're gonna cry on your own, or we're gonna make you cry.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3 this summer.
It was a good time though. It was a good time. So definitely, still strongly recommend that to everyone. But that's basically what
Mikey recommends, because you'll cry.
Officially recommended, because, yeah, I know, that's my whole review.
Crying Corner Mike.
That's my whole review, is like, it's a fun time, made me cry. No, it was very, very good. But,
there you go.
Yeah, so that's what I did. A little bit of a repeat from last week.
Mikey won't recommend unless his eyes are bawling.
That's right. I don't recommend movies or TV shows unless it punches you right in the gut. What about you, Rich? Have you been getting up to any gut-punching entertainment? How did you spend your long weekend?
I guess in a way, yeah, because I'm finally tackling God of War, finally. I've finally had some free time this weekend. So
okay. That's a big game.
Yeah.
An awesome game.
Yeah, I finally started that. I know. It's been like
came out
6 months.
Yeah, it came out in November.
Yeah. But I was so behind. But I'm finally tackling God of War.
Have you done a good job avoiding the spoilers?
Yeah, I have not spoiled it, so nobody mention anything. No, I'm going into it blind.
Good.
Yes.
It's a fantastic game. You said you're about like halfway through.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really big game. There's like one section in particular where like it is you could get lost with all the side content. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
Just doing all the side content.
Yeah,
but
you're almost a completionist.
I am.
You're crazy.
I think I did complete almost everything. I did like all the optional bosses and all the side quests. It took me about...
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, that's the way I feel.
I
I can't do 100% completion.
I know.
I can barely do enough for the story.
I know. Well, you are behind as well.
Yeah.
Too. So you gotta like pick up the pace.
Yeah.
You're mainlining it.
Yeah. I can't do all those collectible stuff.
Yeah. I will admit, I only do that with like the games I really enjoy, like Hogwarts Legacy. I left a lot of the the side collectibles untouched. Out of like, I got enough to get all my upgrades, and I'm like, all right, I'm never doing another one of these like side objectives again.
Unless they put Quidditch in the game.
If they put Quidditch in the game, I'll go back.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yep. So there you go. We had that on Memorial Day weekend. You had a nice little family barbecue.
Nice.
All the food.
Did you get enough food?
Yes,
Good.
And I lived up to Frank's promise for the holiday weekend.
And I've been waiting all week to have a hot dog and a hamburger.
Yep, I had plenty of hot dogs and hamburgers. So
That's what it's all about.
I'm sure Frank would have been proud of me.
Yeah.
So
My dad did not have a hamburger. He only had hot dogs.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is he suddenly anti-burger?
I
What?
don't know. I don't know.
What he gives
He's
us?
missing out.
He gives us a glorious sound clip, and he doesn't abide by it.
Yeah.
And I've been waiting all week to have a hot dog and a hamburger.
And
He just went straight hot dogs.
wow.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
He's watching his figure. He's got to.
I guess so. Yeah. I don't know if hot dogs is the right choice, but
He had to cut one of those two out, so he
Right.
chose hot dogs.
you got to pick your demons.
Yeah, that's right. You got one or the other. All right. Well, speaking of making your selection, we've made our selection for news topics, and the first batch of topics revolve around the world of sports in the Sports Sampler.
So you're not good at sports. It's a very small part of life.
Sports. In your face. Ha ha!
That's right. Sports coming at you in your face. And we're going to talk real quick to start off that the NBA Finals are set.
That's what it's called. I put championship series. I couldn't remember what it was called.
Yeah, you made that really longer than it needed to be.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, NBA Finals.
There you go. That's the word.
Yep. And this is not your microwave instructions. This is literally the matchup. It's Heat Nuggets.
How long though?
Yeah,
How
7
long?
games.
7 games. They're going to be burnt, Rich.
Yeah,
They're going to be rubber.
too hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's literally the teams here. It's the Miami Heat versus the Denver Nuggets. One of the play-in teams making it in the Eastern Conference. Jimmy Butler rallying the team. They almost didn't even make this championship series, as you call it, because they were up 3-0 in the best-of-7 series against the Boston Celtics.
Man.
And they let them come all the way back to a Game 7. But I think Jimmy Butler, he got angry behind the scenes. I think because they went into that game and they only allowed the Celtics to put up 86 points, which
that's basically a shutout if this were like football.
Yeah, the NBA is a scoring league.
Oh yeah,
and to only have them put up 80-some points, yeah, it's basically like a shutout.
I mean, most teams score at least 100.
Yeah.
So Jimmy Butler is the difference maker on that team.
He just knows how to light a flame under the team.
I will always, I know this is about the Heat and the Nuggets, and congratulations to them, but every time the Heat has come up recently, I think back to Jimmy Butler's statements about the 76ers. Not to beat a dead horse, but,
Oh, no, we're going to be a dead horse because I still don't understand why we let him go.
You pointed it out at the time, and we talked about it at the time, about how Jimmy Butler was... He just brought like an X factor. Like we had all the other talented players, but Jimmy Butler was the fire. And when he left, he said the Sixers didn't have what it took to win.
Yep.
And we both
so far he's been right.
So far he's been right. And I keep every year that we lose in the semifinals,
Yep.
I go back to that statement, and every single year becomes more and more obvious that it's the truth. They just don't have that X factor, that fire.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it. You can have all the talent in the world. If you don't want it, you don't want it. We talked about it at the time, but as the years go by, it's glaringly obvious, I think.
Yep. And also on a related note, the Sixers are going with a new head coach, Nick Nurse, who was...
Can he nurse them back to health?
Right. Well, he was the head coach for Toronto when they had their championship run and knocked the Sixers out.
Okay.
So hopefully maybe we can turn...
So he knows our weaknesses. Can he turn them into strengths?
Right. Can we use a former enemy to strengthen our coaching staff in the future? We'll see.
You got to try something.
So, yeah, we'll see with that. But, man, it feels righteous because I think Jimmy Butler, he's a great talent. I don't know why the Sixers let him go.
I don't know.
But he's proven everybody wrong that doubted him as he is leading the Heat to another championship final.
So you said they were a play-in team.
Yeah, this year they were a play-in team.
Okay. Now, where were the Nuggets ranked?
Nuggets are number 1 seed on the West Coast.
Wow. So this is truly a Cinderella story.
Yeah, this is David versus Goliath here. A play-in team versus a heavily stacked number 1 overall seed on the Western Conference, the Denver Nuggets.
I guess I'll be pulling for the Heat then.
Yeah.
I like Jimmy Butler.
I know. I want to see Jimmy Butler win a ring.
It also just rubs salt in the Sixers' wounds. So, like, I just have so much animosity for them, and I don't know why. I don't even care that much about basketball.
Because they've made wrong decisions.
They just frustrate me. Either be bad or be good. Don't pretend to be good.
Okay, very good.
They're like perpetually a 3 seed, which is basically trash in the NBA.
Yeah.
You're like in the middle.
That's
You're
right.
like perfectly in the middle. It's the same thing as like being like a 4th seed in the NFL. Like what? Like why are you wasting everyone's time? Just leave.
Yeah, isn't it? I think you're right that I think the worst success is the 4th seed.
Yeah.
I think it's only like 2 teams have won the Super Bowl from the 4th seed. It's like
it's
very low.
those like it's always those middle like 3rd and 4th seeds. They have the hardest time
to go on a run. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you're either better off being a 1 or 2 seed or a hot 6 or 7.
Yep. Absolutely. So. Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, that's
Sixers.
bringing football into this. I'm trying to talk about basketball. I'm trying to be
know.
open here. We're going to get into football in just a little bit. But nevertheless, it starts this week, the NBA Finals, Heat Nuggets, and why not take
Heat the
that
Nuggets.
advice and
Sounds
cook
tasty.
some nuggets? Yeah,
Yeah.
right? It sounds like a tasty series. Go.
I like a good nugget.
Yeah, go ahead. Have some nuggets while you're eating.
Shake Shack has really good nuggets.
Okay, there you go. Mike's recommendation.
Just throwing out some recommendations out
Shake
there.
Shack. All right, so there you go. Basketball news right there. All right, yeah, Mikey's already jumping the gun. He wants to get the football news.
Absolutely, because there was some big football news.
Yes, there was. I do have to admit, for this being the non-playing season, as the commissioner calls it, not the off season. This is the non-playing season.
That's right. Never stops.
We had huge breaking news before Memorial Day kicked off.
Yep.
And that was DeAndre Hopkins got released from the
Right.
Cardinals. He didn't get traded. He was looking for a trade partner. They were trying to get some return value on him. But the Cardinals just put their hands up in the air and gave up and just cut him, which I can't believe you couldn't find a trade partner.
I guess they didn't have much leverage. They knew that, other teams knew Hopkins didn't want to be there. They knew that Arizona was in a pickle with his contract. So everybody's just waiting, biding their time.
So unfortunately, because of that, the Cardinals have to pay $21 million in dead cap to DeAndre Hopkins, and DeAndre Hopkins can now freely go sign with any other team. I believe the original salary cap hit for him was $30 million, so they save $8 or $9 million. But I don't know, man. You couldn't find anybody to give you a 6th-round pick, something,
any kind of right. They must have been holding out for something flashy, but I mean, that's the thing that always gets me. If it's the difference between a 6th rounder and nothing,
get something for him,
right?
Yeah.
Even if
you got to pay him anyway.
Yeah, even if the headlines are bad, it's like, oh, laughing stock Cardinals get a 7th rounder for Hopkins. Like they got nothing. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, definitely going to be a big shift in Arizona. Like they're officially out of it now.
Yeah, the Arizona Cardinals are officially tanking in 2023. Kyler Murray is still hurt. Don't rush him back.
The division is also very competitive.
Yeah, between the Niners
the 49ers
and the
Seahawks. So, Cardinals are going to be what, 3rd,
Rams
4th?
too. I mean, I know they were bad last year, but they're still two years removed from the Super Bowl.
They still have some talent on the roster. So, the Cardinals are looking at fighting for the 3rd or 4th spot out in the West
with an injured quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, might as well just hang it up for the season and try again in 2024.
Yeah. I feel like that's what they're doing.
But where does DeAndre Hopkins land?
Yeah, this is the tasty
the
question.
news.
This is the tasty question. We're heating nuggets and answering tasty questions.
Now, you know what? I forgot to put it in the rundown, but you sent me a very handy list of possible teams who have cap space right now.
Yeah.
I got that list right here. So
while you do that,
yeah,
the Eagles and the Cowboys both have around
like about $8
million,
it's
which
$8 million.
Unless DeAndre Hopkins is willing to take a Super Bowl one and done hit on his
Right.
paycheck. I don't think that's going to be enough to get him.
It
here.
would be a stretch and a restructure if they wanted to. They would have to like find money somewhere and do some magic to get Hopkins. It would
Yeah.
be a one and done type deal. Take a discount for a potential contender.
Yeah.
But
So I don't think that's going to happen. So
Right.
we're looking at teams that have the most cap space.
also, I think just personally, those two teams are stacked at wide receiver. They don't really need. Like, where would Hopkins? I know everybody's like depth.
Well, yeah, right.
But who do you put at 3?
Who cares? Who cares?
Just roll
Put
out.
them all out on the field.
Just
and,
roll out a 4 wide receiver set every single. I mean,
Yeah.
it would work.
yeah.
It would
Find
work.
the person that's on
Yeah.
single coverage. Just throw it to him. Bam.
But
3-second read. That's all you need.
I mean, that would be ridiculous. But let's come back to the reality of the situation
Yeah.
with some of these teams with the most cap space here. We got leading the pack, the Bears at about $28 million.
Yeah, they don't pay people.
They don't pay people.
They really don't. They're always like the most in cap space, like the last couple years.
I don't know what they're saving it for.
Yeah,
They're hoarding it for something. You have the Panthers at about 20, but they just signed a wide receiver recently, didn't they?
In
They
the
traded,
draft.
They traded for.
well, no, they got rid of.
Oh no, they got rid of. DJ Moore.
DJ Moore. Yeah,
Okay,
he's at the Bears.
He's at the Bears. I got those two teams backwards.
Yeah, there you
You
go.
got the Lions at 17 million, the Colts at 16 million, the Bengals at 12.5, the Packers at 12, the Saints at 11, and the Patriots rounding out this list at 10.3. I think that's pretty much the lowest you can go.
Yeah, he's going to look for double digits.
Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins is going to easily command at least 10. So anything
Unless
else
he goes for a full-blown Super Bowl salary cut.
I don't know that he's willing to drop below 10 million at this stage in his career and the talent that he has. Yeah, I just don't think he's going to go that low. But where do you think a good landing spot for him is? I have seen recently Deshaun Watson has been talking about teaming up with DeAndre Hopkins again in Cleveland. I don't know.
No.
That seems ridiculous, right?
I don't know if that's going to work out.
So, but in the realm of reality, what do you think? Here's where you come with a completely crazy theory.
Yep. Because out of those teams that you listed,
Yeah.
I would go Bengals.
Okay.
I mean, you're talking about a wide receiver room that's stacked. That's going to be further stacked. Tyler Boyd and Jamar Chase, and then pair him.
And then don't they have
T.
T.
Higgins?
Higgins?
Yeah, right. You're going to have 4 wide receivers.
You have 4 guys who could go and at least be a number 2 on any other team,
Yeah.
if not a number 1.
Joe Burrow literally can like close his eyes and just chuck it downfield.
Just 4 verticals every single
Yeah.
every single play.
Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely a possibility.
They've got the cap space. They've got talent. They've made it deep in the playoffs the last 2 years,
And
including a Super Bowl run.
That would be a good difference maker. You know, how do you beat the Chiefs in the AFC? You have to outgun them.
Yeah.
You have to play Mahomes like we played Brady back in 2017. You got to outgun them. And it's great to focus on defense like the Bills and the Bengals kind of did that as well, but you win it's weird, but you win championships with offense nowadays. It's not
Yeah.
really defense anymore.
It's
offense.
Very hard to see that nowadays. Yeah.
Yeah. Bengals
I think the Bengals would be the ideal solution.
I don't know if the cap space is there. They weren't on the list, but along those same lines, you have to look at the other one of the top 3 AFC teams with the Buffalo Bills, because they're definitely right in the middle of their window. If they could make something happen,
But again, that's not on the cap list.
it's not on the cap list. Stranger things have happened.
If he wants if he's willing to take a cut, then I think the Eagles are definitely in play.
The Eagles.
You mean Howie wouldn't take a look at that?
Howie's taking a look at everybody.
If he's willing to take a pay cut for a one and done championship season, oh, you bet Howie's ringing him up. Now, if he's not, then it's strictly salary cap, and we're looking at the teams you just mentioned.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the Buffalo Bills cap space. Yeah, they would have to cut somebody to make space for him. That would have to be a big move for the Buffalo Bills.
That's what I'm saying. You have to go one of 2 ways here. Either he takes the pay cut for a championship team,
right.
and at that point you're just looking at what team would he push over the edge, or he's going to try for one more big contract at age 30, and it's strictly those teams on the salary cap list.
Yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting question. I think that Hopkins wants to be paid.
Well, it's probably his last chance to get a big.
It's his
contract.
last chance. Yeah, I mean,
he's 30. He's,
if that's
things
the
are going to
case-
start going down, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, then it's Bears all the way because they have the most cap space.
yeah,
they
but the
can
Bears
give them
don't pay anybody.
They really don't. They're not.
weird.
They're not really in the wide receiver game.
Yeah. They still believe defense wins championships, unfortunately.
I kind of like the possibility of him maybe going to the Packers. The Packers are in need of serious wide receiver help.
That
you
would
give
be-
Jordan Love the weapon he needs to develop.
That sounds like a Jalen Hurts similar situation. Like, we need to see Jordan Love prove it.
Right.
So
give him the weapons to prove it.
and see if he can actually sling it around.
The other one on that list that I like.
So yeah, Packers definitely. I could see that happening.
Packers definitely. The other team that I think is right in line here to really make some big things happen, the Lions as well.
Yeah,
they got
Lions.
a lot. Look, they clearly focus on offense in the draft. That is an area where they want to get better. I could see the Lions making a play here as well. I
The
think
Lions had a great end of the year last season.
yeah, they did, and they're feeling it. They loaded up on offense.
They're
going to
be the kickoff game. How do you like that? When's the last time Detroit has ever kicked off a season?
I think the league really likes the Lions story, and they're hoping that they do something big this year. They're right there on the edge. And a weapon like DeAndre Hopkins could maybe push them into that serious playoff contender talk. I agree with you that it's either going to be the Bengals or someone from the NFC North. I don't know about the Bears, but the Packers, the Lions, both.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at the other teams with cap space, like the Colts. I don't know where they're at right now. Like, who do they even have at quarterback? They just drafted.
They
somebody.
drafted a guy, and then they still have Sam Elringer. Like, they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, so they're not ready. The Patriots, they're right on the edge of, like, they're not a contender. They also don't have a lot of cap space.
Patriots could be dead last in that division.
Yeah, so I don't know about them.
And also Bill O'Brien's there.
Yeah,
The guy that traded DeAndre Hopkins away. I
So
don't think that would work.
Probably not going there.
Yeah,
Who else?
I don't think there's a bridge over troubled waters there.
And then Panthers, again, they have the cap space, but they're not really going anywhere. And they don't have a lot of promise either. Like,
Yeah.
if you have to compare.
They're in a weak division. That's the only.
They are, but if you're going to go to that weak division, why not the Saints at least, who's also
Yeah.
on that list? But again, I don't see the Saints making a play there
Yeah.
at just at 11 million. I really do think it's NFC North or the Bengals, like
Yeah.
you said.
I like the Bengals.
I'd be interested though if the Bills really want to win this year. If they could free up the cap space, that would immediately make them a Super Bowl favorite.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We'll have to see, but I'm sure DeAndre Hopkins' cell phone is going to be red hot this upcoming week.
Oh yeah, he'll sign with somebody by tomorrow, which negates all this conversation.
Yeah.
It's gonna be watch it be like the Ravens.
Well, I mean, they spent money on Odell Beckham. Yeah, you never know.
Could be.
Yeah.
Who knows? Anyway.
So there you go, player news there. But one more football news bulletin to update you guys on, and this is going to affect how we all watch NFL games because the fair catch rule has now been tweaked to further prevent kickoff returns and deep punt returns.
Yeah, so they shifted where teams get the ball when they have a fair catch on kickoffs. And this is done to prevent the recent trend of pop-up kicks, where they kick it real high and kind of short to force the opposing team to return it. So now, if there's a fair catch on a kickoff, it gets placed at the 25-yard line. The same thing as if it were a touchback. I'm so confused by my rundown here. I don't know why I wrote what I wrote. But
Mike has great notes.
I have great notes. And some fans and some NFL people are a little concerned about this. You know, it's basically eliminating special teams.
It's going to get rid of kickoff returns.
Yeah, I mean, they should just be done with it at this point. Because already returns were at 38%. Only 38% of kicks were being returned. They think that after this move, it's going to drop to close to 30. So, at that point, it's almost like non-existent. But they do think that the trade-off here is that concussions will drop by up to 15%. So it's that old thing of,
Player
balancing the fun of the game with the player safety. And the other thing here is that realistically, it doesn't make that much of a difference because the average return in the NFL ended up at the 24.3-yard line So they'd only be gaining 0.7 yards with this rule change. So it's not really like an advantage to just fair catch balls, or not fair catch balls. It's both the same. So I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this. I always liked kick returns because they were exciting. The past couple of years I've gotten used to just them being nothing, but I almost wish that they did just get rid of it because I hate, a team scores commercial, kickoff commercial.
Yeah.
Just get rid of the kickoff. Just put the ball at the 25-yard line.
So, yeah, you would rather they just outright do it, get rid of kickoffs.
It's already boring. The era of it being exciting is long gone.
Yeah,
So
no Devin Hester.
What was that?
A new device connected on the network.
Oh my god, that was so loud. I don't know if that comes through,
Yes,
but that was really loud.
The new device wanted to tell you off. How dare you get rid of kickoffs?
Oh my god, what device connected and just took over your computer?
I don't know.
Yeah, but just like the new device, I say just
Overrule.
completely overrule the system and just get rid of it. I mean, what do you think? Kickoffs are boring as hell.
Yeah, but I mean,
What's the point? Only
because there should always be. I don't know. I'm kind of maybe I'm being too romantic about football, but I feel like there should always be that chance. There's because it is at this point you either do
it or don't.
Either leave kickoffs alone or don't do kickoffs. But that's how when you get to a last possession that scores and you leave 25 seconds on the clock, you want to have a kickoff. That's when hey, you never know, the guy could run it all the way back for a touchdown on the way back.
But you
can't really do that if they kick the ball, it's a fair catch, ball goes on the 25-yard line, and then what, you get 2 plays off?
Well, here's the catch though, is that in that scenario they weren't going to return it anyway.
Depends on where the ball lands.
Well, because of how offenses are structured in this day and age, and because most kicks, 60+% of kicks go into the end zone, the team who's trying to come back isn't going to return.
Yeah.
They're just not. Why risk a return when Mahomes can just drop back and sling it 50 yards in one play? We've seen that happen.
You can't throw the whole length of the field.
Don't test him.
But as far as I know.
So, in this scenario, it would be a fair catch, right? We're assuming it's in the field of play. It's not the end zone.
Well, either way, it's going to be set at 25.
Teams can still return it. It's up to the returner to fair catch or not.
Yeah. Oh, wait. So, they could run it back if they want.
Yeah, so the ball comes down, catches it at the 1. He could either fair catch it or he could return it. The potential is still there.
Yeah.
Actually, the more I think about it, the more non-issue it is.
I get.
Because it's still up to the returner. For instance, if prime Deshaun Jackson is back there, he's catching it at the 1-inch yard line. He's still going to return it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if the fair catch rule is in place. They still have an opportunity.
I don't know. I feel like the safety net is too big now.
The safety net's too big.
Yeah.
It incentivizes fair catching instead of returning.
Right.
That makes it kind of more exciting. The risk is greater.
Are you paid off by Roger Goodell?
Maybe. Roger Goodell, I am very cheap.
Yeah.
No, but
I'm surprised you are. Andy Reid hates this. He was very rarely do you see him show signs of anger. He was not
annoyed.
Liking this rule tweak. He was very upset in a press conference.
Like I said, it's special teams has already been just gutted, right?
Yeah.
So at this point,
might as well just go all the way.
You either just go all the way, but again,
so what would you do? Just all drives start at 25?
Either all drives start at the 25, or again, the returner still can return the ball. The fair catch is totally up to the return team. They don't have to fair catch it.
I guess that's true, but I think with the default being the 25-yard line.
Let's put it this way: if teams really are as pissed as they are, return it more.
Yeah,
seriously, special teams coordinators and players, put your money where your mouth is. Return it more. I think the outrage is publicity.
But also too, they've moved where they kick the ball now too. So naturally, the ball's being kicked out of bounds or in the end zone more often.
It's well, that was years ago.
Yeah.
They moved to the 35.
35 instead of 30. Yeah.
I would have preferred if they had kept it at the 30 and then implemented this rule, because then teams would be catching it at the 5. So fair catching it only gets them 20 yards.
Yeah, that would be worth a gamble.
That would be worth a gamble. But now 60+% of the times it ends up in the end zone, so they don't even get a choice.
Yeah.
And the other 30-some%, they still have the choice, but it's, I don't know. I'm kind of ambivalent towards it. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Make
I
sure-
know you're expecting me to be angrier.
Make sure you collect your check by Roger Goodell on the way out.
Yeah, Raj, I'll just before you leave, I'll take that check.
Yeah.
All $12.
Yeah. I'm surprised. I thought you would be
angrier?
with your boy with Reed.
I miss the era of exciting special teams, but it's been so long. I mean, really think about the last time special teams has made a difference outside of the Eagles
Devin
Super Bowl
Hester?
that we just lost.
Yeah, right. But
Devin Hester, yeah, that was
Devin
that was like a
Hester's-
decade or more ago.
Yeah. That was the Chicago Bears' only chance to try and stop Peyton Manning.
That was literally the only thing they had going for them.
Yeah. Maybe he can return all of the punts and kicks for touchdown returns.
They had that guy on special teams, offense, defense. They were like,
Rex Grossman was a Super Bowl quarterback. How did that happen?
that was wild times.
What universe are we living in?
I don't know. The darkest timeline.
Sexy Rexy. Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, God. And that was the last time the Chicago Bears were relevant.
Yes.
So
2006.
yeah. So we'll see how this rule affects the league and where DeAndre Hopkins ends up. But for right now, that'll wrap up the Sports Sampler. But don't go anywhere, because we're just going to take a quick break and then come back at you, because we got to talk the end of two of our favorite shows, Succession and Barry. They both ended over the weekend. We got to talk about them, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
The 24-hour Game Show Marathon is back for another record-breaking year. Watch as Game Show fans recreate 24 of their favorite game shows, all to raise money for Child's Play. Child's Play delivers therapeutic games and technology directly to pediatric hospitals to improve patients' lives through the power of play. Watch the fun Saturday, June 3rd, 2023, and donate now at GameShowMarathon.com.
Ready for the weekend? Happy Friday. Hi, my name's Marie, and I'm an artist who's been making Happy Friday doodles every week for over 7 years. And now you can own my art collection in this Volume 1 and Volume 2 art series. These doodles span across multiple themes, yearly festivities, various countries, languages, and more. Both coffee table books have something for everyone and are the perfect conversation starter or gift for a friend. Really, anyone who enjoys a good weekend. Available on Amazon, Ingram, BookBaby, Barnes & Noble, and more. Visit happyfridaydoodles.com/books and get your copies today. Let's celebrate the best day of the week. Happy Friday.
The 24-hour Game Show Marathon is back for another record-breaking year. Watch as Game Show fans recreate 24 of their favorite game shows, all to raise money for Child's Play. Child's Play delivers therapeutic games and technology directly to pediatric hospitals to improve patients' lives through the power of play. Watch the fun Saturday, June 3rd, 2023, and donate now at GameShowMarathon.com.
Oh, yeah, we're back here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast, and it's appropriate we're playing the Barry theme song because we are going to hit some finale talk coming up between Barry and another critically acclaimed HBO show in just a little bit. So without further ado, why don't we just launch right into it? Because
Let's do it.
Yeah, this is what the meat of the show is going to be this week in the entertainment entree.
And now, the latest in movies.
The Simpson guy writes to movies. Dear Die Hard, you rock. Especially when that guy was on the roof.
Music.
I know what that is. That's music.
Video games.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
Celebrities.
You really know Warren Beatty? Yes, I do. I took a leak next to him once at the Golden Globes.
And more.
You were the all-singing, all-dancing crap of the world.
This is the entertainment entree.
Alrighty, and before we get to the finale talk, let's do the portion of the show where Mike is going to let you know what you should keep an eye out for this upcoming weekend with new movies and new video games and new shows in Mike's This Week in Entertainment. All right, well, we're losing 2 shows. What can we replace them with, Mike?
Well, the first thing, I know you guys have been hearing the ads throughout the shows the past couple of weeks, but the Game Show Marathon is this weekend, correct, Rich?
Right. That's right. Thank you very much.
One of the co-hosts right here.
Yep.
How many game shows are you hosting this year?
We're doing 6 apiece.
Oh, wow.
Because we have 24 game shows split between 4 hosts. So, yeah, we're doing 6 each.
Hey, man, you share the load, right?
Yep, that's right.
That's
it
good
gives
stuff.
us time to sleep.
Yeah, right. They go 24 hours straight from noon to noon, right?
Yep, noon on Saturday to noon on Sunday. Yep.
Man, I got to tell you, it's fun. I've been to a couple of them, not the whole time. I'm not as intense as you guys are with the game shows, but it's always a good time, always a good watch, a great laugh. Really weird, obscure game shows, which I always appreciate the weird ones.
Especially in the early morning hours, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Some of your best clips and moments and stories you've told me have come from that 2 to 4 o'clock range.
Yep.
So if you're up late this weekend, go check out the Game Show Marathon and make sure you donate as well, going to Child's Play.
Yep.
Fantastic charity.
GameShowMarathon.com.
There you go. But if you're not checking out the Game Show Marathon at some point over those 24 hours, you can also head to the theaters at some point to check out Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse hitting theaters this week. It's the follow-up to one of the best superhero movies, period, the past several years. Not just live action or cartoon, but I think better than some full MCU movies. It is a fantastic, artistic masterpiece with blending so many different artistic styles. The story of the first movie was so exciting and heartwarming, and it looks like this follow-up is going to be as well. So they had some screenings early, and the general reaction on social media is exceptionally positive. People are very, very exciting. They're praising the groundbreaking visuals, the heartfelt story, and the ambitious scope of it. Of course, it's about the Spider-Verse, where you see all the different spider people from all the different universes all coming together to try and keep it all working, you know. I'm a little fuzzy on details because I'm trying to stay away from any potential spoilers, but you're going to get to see all the different Spider-Men. So really excited for that. The first one was fantastic. Definitely go check out Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, coming to theaters this week. And finally, in television, The Lazarus Project sounds like a fun new sci-fi drama premiering this Sunday at 9 p.m. on TNT. Very rarely do we hear about TNT, but this show is an acquisition from the UK where they're already working on season 2. And I love the premise. It's about a secretive organization who has the ability to send the world back in time whenever the planet is faced with an existential threat, leaving only a few people who remember the previous events. So,
is this like a reason why people have different memories?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Actually, that could be a cool element if that's part of it.
Yeah. What the hell's that called?
The Mandela effect.
Mandela effect.
Yeah. It's not the Berenstein Bears. It's the Berenstain Bears.
Yeah.
Is one of them. And what's another Mandela effect that I learned recently?
Yeah,
it was really weird. There's a whole
YouTube
list of
videos.
them.
Yeah. Whole library of them. Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's the Berenstain Bears. I don't care what people say. I don't remember Berenstain.
Well, you are from an alternate universe then.
I must be. If you're from an alternate universe, go check out the Lazarus Project Sundays at 9 on TNT, and that's what we're looking forward to this week in entertainment.
All right, thank you for that segment this week in entertainment, Mike. All right, we're dedicating a block of time because two of our favorite HBO shows ended on Sunday. Let's go with Barry first. You want to do Barry first? We played the theme song, so let's talk about Barry.
We'll start off with Barry. It's been one of my favorite shows on TV the past. I mean, both these shows have, but
should we officially announce spoiler territory?
Yes, I think we need to.
All right, officially spoiler territory. If you have not watched Barry,
it's a spoiler. It's a spoiler. Don't listen. Go away.
I love that sound clip.
It's still one of the best.
All right, so officially in spoiler territory, what did you think of Barry, the series finale?
To be honest, when I first watched it, I was not confused or disappointed, but I don't know what I was expecting, maybe a little bit more. But as I've been sitting with it, I'm coming to appreciate it more and more as it marinates over time, as sometimes these complicated endings do, right? The initial reaction was, I was like, really? I was like, that's how it ends. But the more I sit and dwell on it and let it stew, the more I'm appreciating the nuances of it. It's always been a very, I think, complicated show, not in terms of understanding it, but in terms of the characters, right? They're very complicated, layered characters. None of them are good people, like these good character dramas usually are. I think that overall, I would give it like a solid 8 out of 10, with my biggest criticisms being the pacing felt out of control the last like 3 or 4 episodes of season 4.
Yeah, because they've done some ridiculous time jumps.
They did do some ridiculous time jumps, and it's not just the time jumps. It felt very much like there was a checklist of items they had to hit. So, for example, after the time jump, Fuchs is just gone, right? So there's that big 8-year time jump. They don't talk about Fuchs for like 3 straight episodes. Finale, he's like, I'm back. And he's like a major part in like the last episode, and then just literally fades into the darkness again. And it felt very much like, oh, wait, here's this character. We got to figure out something for him. Check it off the list, right? Oh, we have to tie up, Sally's PTSD from killing that guy. Oh, let's bring him back in the fold real quick. Check. It's just like a series of checks that they had to hit. Like, oh, here's NoHo Hank again, like randomly the last episode, and
how he remembers Cristobal.
Check. And it felt very much like ticking items off a list. And maybe I'm just triggered from the Game of Thrones season 8 finale a couple years ago, but pacing issues are like a big sticking point for me. Especially the first 2 seasons of Barry, I think, were just the best seasons of the series. And they took their time. Like, it took an entire season for one police investigation or, one hit to go down or whatever it is. And it just felt like those last, I think it was like 3 or 4 episodes after the time jump, just was like lightning fast. Not in terms of the action, but in terms of like the big plot points they had to hit.
Yeah.
So I thought the pacing was off a little bit. But about the ending itself, very Barry-esque.
Yeah.
Which I think is the best part of it. I'll give you a second to talk about it as well, because I've been saying a lot.
Yeah. I loved just kind of the suddenness of how characters got killed.
Oh, wow.
In the last 2 episodes of this series. I loved the fake movie that gets made at the end of this. Like,
that was very Barry.
Oh, I love the fact that they turned the story of Barry, But like you can kind of see it, like if you look at it from a different point of view, you can build Barry as like this weird American sniper patriot hero,
right?
And Kusino is this weird, evil liberal arts guy. How dare you? He's corrupting our American youth.
You know what's great? No, but you know what's great about that meta part of it, of that movie that gets made at the end, is I feel like that's commentary on how people sometimes watch these shows or movies.
Yeah.
Like we talked about this briefly at dinner where everyone's like, oh, Barry's the hero. No, he's not.
No.
He's a murderer. You're not supposed to be like, go
he's a
Barry.
hitman.
Yeah, you're not like, yeah, good for you. No, he's murdering tons of people in cold blood. But somewhere along the lines, we grow attached to these characters. We start rooting for them. And in our minds, we flip it on ourselves, where Barry's the good guy, and everybody standing in his way is the bad guy, right? And so maybe that meta-fictional movie at the end is kind of a commentary on how we, incorrectly as viewers, interpret
absolutely
good and bad guys.
Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, like you said, there's been people that they root for the weirdest people, and you're like,
they root for the Wolf of Wall Street. They root for Michael Corleone. They're like, yeah, go.
They root for Gordon Gekko.
Yeah, murder your family.
Like Gordon Gekko is supposed to be the
bad guy.
The critique of the 80s greed. You're not supposed to root for him.
Right.
But you have like stockbrokers that can recite all of his lines from start to finish.
Basically every mobster movie or TV show ever made.
Yeah, that's another one, yeah. So it is a critique on that from this final episode of Barry.
Love the commentary. The show's always been great at that. That still shines through in the finale. The humor finally returned. It got really dark.
Yeah, the fourth season is very dark. And I think
like
that
weirdly dark, right?
Yeah, I would say that might be the element that I think you can critique that lost its way a little bit in this fourth and final season. Like, so for example, my mom got into Barry because she saw like a couple episodes of this season, and I had to tell her like the rest of the show is not like this at all.
Yeah,
like the first two seasons of this show is completely different.
I recently rewatched the entire series because my girlfriend was catching up on it. I literally just introduced it to her like 2 months ago, and I mean we're laughing out loud. Season 1, season 2, even though it's dramatic, even though there's really great moments of like intense emotion, it still has that humor throughout it. And then it was that first episode after the time jump. We're sitting there, and neither of us are laughing. We're like, this is really depressing. Like, they're in a religious cult. Sally's like full-blown alcoholic.
Yep.
Barry is like weirdly possessive, and like everybody's like cloistered off. I get that they're on the run, but I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, this is really depressing.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, not looking forward to some episodes. Like, man, like this is just gonna like suck the mood right out of the whole thing, you know?
Although I love the fact that before he goes to try and kill the next person, he has to find a podcast that justifies a Christian view of killing someone.
Yes.
So he literally is like scrolling on his phone, and he's like, all right, this podcast, no, they say killing's wrong. All right, next podcast, killing's wrong. Nope, next podcast.
And then
killing can be justifiable. Got it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And it's so great because like he turns it on and the podcast host is like, killing is not a sin. He's like, bingo, turns it off.
Yep.
And,
got it.
And like, you're right. Like there were those moments of Barry humor where it was still present. It was just fewer and far between.
Yeah.
The other scene that sticks out to me is he goes to the gun counter at like Walmart and he goes, guns. And they're like, which one? How many? And then they just hand him a brown paper bag of guns.
Yeah.
And he's like walking out with his rifle strapped to his back down the kid's toy aisle. And I'm like, that's perfect. That's perfect Barry right there.
Yeah. I mean, depending on what state you're in, that could be somewhat reasonable. Yeah.
So, I mean, overall, like, just where will Barry be remembered? How will it be remembered? Yeah,
I think it's one of the best modern comedies, dark comedies of this era.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think that it brought a really unique like twist to the dark comedy genre.
Yeah. And it's not just Bill Hader. Henry Winkler, if there was a comeback actor of the year or something, he would get it. because that role was he knocked it out of the park.
Yeah. Bill Hader, I mean, making his directorial and writing debut like in, a big series way. And like you said, Henry Winkler just coming out of, he did like Arrested Development, some other small things, but like coming out of like basic obscurity, He was amazing.
Yeah.
So fantastic show. Should go down as one of the greats in terms of dark comedies, but there's another show that wrapped up on HBO as well, and I think this
one you might have heard of.
You may have heard of it. It's been winning awards every single year the past couple of years. We got to talk, of course, about Succession.
Yep, and again, spoiler warning.
It's a spoiler! Woo! It's a spoiler! Don't listen! Go away!
I just wanted to play the clip again.
Yeah, you got to.
But no, this is kind of the bigger. I know Barry has its own claim, and they've done their own thing. But for me, Succession was the one that broke my heart. That this was ending after 4 seasons. Won many Emmys, won many awards. I can't believe people that don't watch Succession. I'm like, what planet are you living on? But unfortunately, all good things must come to an end, and Succession has officially been finished, and we now know who the company has been succeeded to. The successioning has happened.
The successioning has happened, yes.
And Tom won. Tom is the CEO.
Won.
What did you think of that twist?
I think it was perfect. For weeks I'd been saying that none of the kids can have it.
Yeah.
Because
I have been saying that too.
Yeah. if you've been following the
these
series.
These kids are not serious people.
No.
That was the last thing Logan said before he croaks on the next episode.
Yeah.
And that's the theme of the entire season.
Yep. It's the theme of the entire series. The kids are just not cut out for it. And it would have felt like disingenuous and hokey if, say Kendall just goes on and becomes like a decent CEO. That's not the point of the show. The point of the show is that you can't possibly succeed somebody like Logan.
Yeah.
Especially not his kids who were all inherently broken by Logan, right? Like Logan created an environment and a family in which it was impossible for Succession to become a reality. And I think that was like such an amazing part of the finale, is really realizing that individually, on their own, none of them are able to do this job.
No.
And all of the characters, it's, if Barry is a dramedy, Succession is like a comedic tragedy, right? There's moments of comedy, but ultimately it's a tragedy. And none of these characters get what they want.
Nope.
They all end up getting their just desserts, though, in a very tragic way.
Yeah. If you listen to the Compendium podcast, Mark Mylod said it beautifully. All the kids are supposed to end up in purgatory.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Kendall doesn't get the job that he wants all of his life, but he's still alive and he's still wealthy.
Right.
So he doesn't really have a reason to off himself, which
Right.
a lot of people thought he was going to.
I did too. He was like sitting there staring at the water, and they'd been breadcrumbing. Like he would constantly go out swimming in the middle of the night, and like there was a lot of water motifs. And,
Yeah. But he's got money, so he's not like destitute. So he doesn't have a desperation to kill himself.
Right.
So instead, he's stuck in limbo.
Right.
Shiv is stuck in limbo because now she is second fiddle to her husband, which she never wanted.
Right.
She thought she was going to be girl bossing her way into the office. Now she's not. Now she's stuck being the traditional wife and going to have a kid.
Yeah.
And Roman, he kind of lost a little bit of his confidence, between the fact he never was able to really take over any of his job roles, between the fact he broke down at his father's funeral in front of all the powerful people in New York City, and the fact that he was always second fiddle to his own brother. Like he's really lost his confidence.
Yeah.
So it's like they're all doomed to this purgatory life after Waystar Royco has been taken over by Mattson and Tom.
Yeah. I think purgatory is the perfect way to put it. They're just, like you said, all trapped. And what makes it even more tragic, especially in that finale, is there was a long sequence where the 3 kids are together at their mom's like villa, wherever they are. Barbados, yeah. And I mean, getting chills just thinking about it. It was like such a perfect series of events. Like you could see what it would look like for them to be siblings, like actual siblings.
Yeah.
And, I don't think anything sums up the series better than, they have that moment and then immediately, the next day, backstabbing once again. And it's like
success. Whenever there's any feeling of goodwill, it's going to get yanked away.
Yeah. And it so perfectly nails that tragic vibe because, that's kind of one of the themes is like if they could just work together, they could have been better than their father. They could have maybe, eclipsed his shadow. But because they're all, like fighting to be king of the hill, none of them are going to be king of the hill.
Yeah.
You can't fight against yourself and ascend to the top.
Yeah. And Shiv made it so with her deciding casting vote.
Yeah. Oh man, what a great scene!
And just essentially made Ken look like an idiot.
Yeah.
Because he starts weeping like, I need this job. I need this job.
He was like screaming and weeping and begging and threatening.
Like,
and
that's not a CEO at all. That's not a leader.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, I think that was probably one of my favorite sequences was when they had it out in that separate little office.
Yeah, but it was in a glass room so everyone could see it.
Yeah, don't throw stones.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
My favorite part, though, is I was waiting the past like 2 or 3 episodes of the season. We're waiting for Roman to have his breakdown. And it didn't come the way that I thought it would, but it was very simple, almost understated. He's like, it's all BS.
Yeah.
We're all BS. It's all BS. Like he has this revelation, like almost like a novella, like epiphany where he's like, none of this matters.
Yeah.
Like we're
not going to take it over.
No,
it's not happening.
It's not happening. It's like basically he's like everything we're doing is pointless.
Yeah.
And that it's so true.
Yep. And he's finally realizing it. Shiv realized it. And I guess Ken's going to have to realize it cuz he's completely out of the company now.
Yeah. Oh man. The more I'm thinking about the better it gets. When I first watched the Barry finale, I was kind of like, "Oh, really?" I had to sit with it a little bit. But as soon as Succession rolled credits, I was like, that was one of the best finales I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, without a doubt.
Yep. And it made sense. It was the most realistic ending, too.
It came back full circle in such a perfect way.
So now let's talk about Tom. Do you like Tom as the winner? He's essentially the winner. He becomes the CEO.
Yeah. I think I like Tom as CEO because it kind of fits his character. He was always a lapdog. He was always a guy who would do whatever he was told to do and do whatever it took to get to the top, but always stay kind of like in people's good graces, bend over backwards for people and just very submissive. And that's exactly what he is for Matheson. He's a puppet. He was the only choice that made sense to me.
And I forget who it was, but somebody online pointed out he's the only character that he improved his position every season.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Like he actually, if you look back, he actually has a natural progression from being some sort of senior counsel in Parks, then to head of Parks, then to head of ATN, now CEO. Like he follows like an actual trajectory up the corporate ladder.
He's the typical corporate yes man.
Yeah.
And that's it. I think it fits perfectly with the whole tragic theme of how successions work like that, and he was the only person that I think in my mind could have succeeded. You know, because
I was so glad that the kids didn't get it.
Yeah, if one of the kids had gotten it, it would have taken this finale from an 11 out of 10 to like a 7 out of 10. Like it would have tanked the credibility because it would have totally missed the mark on the central themes of the show. I liked Tom as CEO. I do want to say that although I was wrong about Greg.
Yeah, you were pulling for Greg.
I was really pulling for Greg. It was the most outlandish possible.
I
wasn't totally wrong.
You almost had a chance when Greg released the information to Ken.
Oh yeah.
I thought, wait a minute, what's he trying to do?
When I saw that scene, I was like, there it is. But I mean, Greg made it as close and as far as you can. I made the joke that, he's one bad burrito from becoming interim CEO. He's like Tom's right-hand man who knows all the secrets, who does all his dirty work.
Yeah.
He's right there. He's right there.
Yeah. It was funny. He did have some gears moving.
Yeah.
To possibly be in that position.
Don't count out Greg. In a spin-off series, he could do some damage. I want to see Greg next. Just Greg. That's
Greg Session.
Greg Session. I do want to talk for a moment because talking about Greg and Tom is making me reflect more on how, the show's about succession, and the succession didn't come from the immediate family, which I think we need to talk a moment about how this was Logan Roy's doing.
Yeah.
Right?
In the end, he gets what he wanted.
Yeah. Does he?
Yeah, because he wanted to sell the company to Mattson.
He wanted to sell the company to Mattson, but he wanted to create, a legacy, and his kids are not like how do I put this? Like, for all his work to create a dynasty, to create a legacy, right? It ends up with an interloper and the grandkid of his brother who disliked the way he did business. All of the work he put into, preparing his kids for the succession, and then he says, you guys are all, foolish people, you're not ready.
Yeah, which is why he wants to sell the company.
Yeah, because he knew that they couldn't do it.
Yeah. Or are you saying it's more like Ozymandias or something like that? He won't have that legacy standing now after he's dead. I
think it's a little bit of both. Okay. Like, all the work that he put into it, now it's forever going to be Matheson's company.
Yeah.
And it just it was his own doing. He pushed his family away. He kept them at arm's length. He never put in the time or the effort, and so it just,
by the way,
kind of fades off.
How am I know we're talking about the finale, but that last the second to last episode, the funeral, that eulogy from Uncle Ewan, who's James Cromwell. Oh my God, that was just scorching.
Yeah, that was good.
He's he's dead. I'm going to tell you the full truth.
Yeah.
He went off just like he was a mean person. Oh my God.
It was all the episodes were great.
It was if Scrooge. It was like if Scrooge didn't get better and he died.
Yeah.
That would have been the funeral.
Basically.
that Scrooge would have had.
Yeah. And then Kendall gets up there and his speech was like, yay, corporate monopolies. Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
he had to defend capitalism.
Yeah. And then, of course, Roman's breakdown.
Yeah.
I do there was a very powerful scene that I really liked in that episode where Roman goes out and he's shouting at the protesters, and he gets into the crowd of protesters. He's fighting against the stream, and he gets knocked down. Metaphorically,
he gets punched.
And literally, right?
Yeah.
Literally and metaphorically, he gets knocked down, and then he ends up, unintentionally walking with the tide, going with the stream. I think that was symbolic of that turning point for him, where he's like, I knew from that moment, I knew for a long time that Roman wasn't into it, and that kind of sealed the deal. Like, he's not. He's leaving whatever that was behind.
Yeah,
he's going with the changing tide now.
Yeah.
Just a small example of just how amazing the show is. The writing is so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Also, another callback in the first episode when Roman is introduced, he walks into that room where Kendall has his team because they think that he's supposed to be taking over. He was announced as the heir. And he just looks around and he says something to the cue of laughing and saying, "This is all BS." Ha ha. And then in the last episode, he's crying to Kendall, "We're all BS. This isn't,
I always liked Roman. He was a deviant and a sicko, but I think he was the most.
What are you, a sicko?
Yeah. I think he was the most human of the
he had a heart.
He did. He tried to cover it up, but in the end, he's the only one of them. Well, Shiv kind of saw sense too. That's why she, didn't go with Kendall. But yeah, I always liked Roman, as weird as he was.
And I guess the final thing to note, I guess, is where do you think this ranks in terms of TV shows?
I mean,
because I'm gonna give it all the praise. I think this is right up there with like Sopranos, and when all's said and done, I think this is gonna end up being a top 5, top 10 show of all time.
I think that, I hope it ages well. I think it will age well. I think, like you said, it's up there with the Breaking Bads and the Sopranos and all those other, prestige dramas. I think it has an opportunity to be reflected on in terms of the commentary of the era in which it was written. I think it has some really good commentary about how we view corporate politics. I think it could have real staying power. It's a fantastic show.
Yeah.
It's just such solid writing, such well-rounded, complicated characters who are at the same time completely disgusting and hateful, but also relatable.
Yeah.
In that hatefulness.
Wonderful one-liners and jokes.
Yeah.
It's thrown in there as well. And
that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. This is definitely going to go down as one of my favorite shows of all time.
There's, with Barry, I could find like one or two things. I'm like, I wish they could have done that, or I wish I had, they had changed that. You can't really find many negatives, if any, for Succession. I think that's always the mark of one of the greats.
Yeah.
I think back, it's so rote, but to talk about like the greatest films of all time, like The Godfather, you can't really find fault with much of it, technically, artistically, character-wise, and Succession is the same way. You can't really find fault with any of it.
Yeah. I again, like I said at the start of this, I can't believe there are people that don't watch this show. I have no idea what you're looking for in a show.
I guess it's not for everyone. Like my dad doesn't like it because to him, he doesn't like how none of the characters are good guys. I mean, and that's the point. They're all awful people. You're not supposed to watch. To go back to Barry, you're not supposed to watch it and be like, yeah, I really like the way that Kendall treats people.
Yeah,
you're not supposed to like Shiv treats Tom really well. Like you're not supposed to think that.
Yeah. So there you go. Our feelings as two of our favorite shows have come to an end on HBO, Succession and Barry. A bittersweet moment as those shows have ended, but I think we're both in agreement that they both ended as well as they could have, and
yeah,
I think
really good finales.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna have an enduring place on our list of top TV shows of all time. All right, now let's get into the final part of our show to wrap things up with the non-fortune cookie odd news.
We've been talking about cool and its ramifications and how it applies to the hip scene. But maybe you could give us some examples now of the opposite of cool, uncool. Just exactly what is uncool?
My nipples look like milk duds.
Holy shnikes.
It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
It's not of this world. I don't know exactly what it is or what it's doing, but this is not human intelligence, okay? It's not human intelligence we're facing!
How you doing? Me? I'm doing great.
Manda basata. I don't make this stuff up.
I'll take a pound of nuts.
That's a lot of nuts! That'll be $4, baby! You want fries with that?
I seen the celery dance across the baseball fields.
You had me at meat tornado.
No, go past this part. In fact, never play this again.
Okay. What does that mean?
And now it's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
So sit back, get everything you need to get from the kitchen. Be sure and empty the bladders, go to the bathroom, because you're in for a hell of a ride.
Woo, odd news.
That's right, everyone. It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news. Here in this segment, Rich researches the news, he reads the news, and I react to the news. He finds a weird and wacky story, he keeps it hidden from me, which ensures that all of my reactions are my genuine gut reactions to hearing these stories for the very first time. I don't know what's about to happen. You guys don't know what's about to happen. And even Rich doesn't know what's about to happen because these stories always take us down wacky and wild paths. And I'm ready to get started. Where are we heading to and why? Why?
Well, I mean, do you want to finish that question?
What's the question?
Why is it
that it's always Florida?
Now, who is this guy in Florida.
It's Florida, and they're crazy.
Yeah.
It's always Florida.
Yeah, we actually, I think the last couple of weeks we've actually been away from Florida.
We have been. It's good to go home.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it is not good for this odd news victim here. And this is also going to show you, don't get drunk in Florida.
Oh, that sounds terrifying.
Yeah. We're going to file the case of 23-year-old Jordan Rivera. He decided to go out Sunday night. I don't know why. We have 2 big shows that ended. We just covered in 20 minutes.
Yeah, right?
2 big major shows. But no, I guess he's not a fan of Barry or Succession. So instead, he decided to go out for a night on the town. He was drinking at a bar.
Okay.
Got himself very drunk. The line for the bathroom was very long.
Okay.
And like men do, especially ones that don't have their inhibitions.
He found a corner.
No, he decided to go outside to the back of the bar.
Okay.
While he was relieving himself at the back of the bar, according to the police report here, he tripped on a rock and fell into a pond that was located behind the bar. When he was trying to swim to get back up, an alligator attacked him.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, man, that sucks.
Full-blown alligator attack here.
Yeah, man, Florida's dangerous. You got to be careful.
Yep.
Yeah, now that you bring it up, why would anybody, I feel like getting drunk in Florida is dangerous. Because if you step wrong, there's like a snake, there's an alligator.
You need to have a buddy system.
There's crazy drivers.
Yeah.
There's so many things that can kill you.
You can't be going alone. You need to have
Other Floridians.
You need to have a buddy system. You need something.
Right.
You need to have some
everybody pair up. Okay.
Yep. According to Rivera, in a news interview, he said, "I was walking over to the water hole. I tripped. I didn't realize how big the hole was. At some point, I just went down into the water. That is the last thing I remember."
Oh, man.
Other patrons at the bar jumped in to rescue him. But unfortunately, the alligator did some damage.
Ooh.
And he lost part of his right arm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Because he couldn't pee in the bathroom. This is what caused it. What a butterfly effect of decisions here.
Yeah, right? I mean, if he had just stayed in to watch Succession.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been
Succession could have saved an arm.
Right. He wouldn't have been part of his own tragedy.
Yeah.
Just watch one on TV.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that sucks. He's always going to look at his nub and go,
I went to the bathroom.
If only I just hadn't gotten, completely drunk and needed to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. He says that he literally only remembers trying to go peeing in the back of that bar and then waking up in the hospital and seeing my arm, the way it was and going, "Oh no."
Oh no. Oh
Yeah.
no. Whoops, I messed up.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks so bad.
Literally just because he couldn't go to the bathroom inside.
That's like that's just like the worst possible series of events.
Yeah.
Like something so simple as like, I need to go to the bathroom. Then all of a sudden you're missing an arm.
Yeah.
That's a huge leap.
Yeah. But it's true here in Florida. In Florida, it can happen.
Just stay in and watch TV. It's way less dangerous.
Yeah.
Your biggest threat is heart disease because you're sitting on the couch snacking too much.
Or you need to at least have some sort of party buddy system or something.
Right, don't go to the bathroom alone.
You can't walk out back behind a watering hole alone.
It's dark. There's alligators. You're drunk. This is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. But in brighter news, when he was released from the hospital, Rivera is choosing to look upon this in a positive manner, saying that, quote, "At least I didn't lose my life. This is not the end of the world."
I mean, that's true.
So
that's true.
At least he's finding the silver lining in this.
It could have been way worse.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, you're drunk and you trip into water. I mean,
and then an alligator pulls you down. Yeah, that could have been.
I mean that's
dead.
like that's dead.
That's usually drowning at that point. Yeah.
Not many people come back from that.
Right. Those gators will pull you down.
Oh yeah, the whole death spin that they do.
Yeah. So at least he's been looking on this with a positive attitude.
Well, that's good.
And he's healthy enough to leave the hospital. So, and this
That's
happened
also
Sunday.
good.
So that's a really quick turnaround too.
I mean, you lose an arm and you're out of the hospital by like Tuesday, Wednesday. That's pretty good.
I mean, all things considered, I know nobody wants to lose an arm,
Right. But if you have to, this is the best case scenario, I guess.
I mean, at least he seems healthy enough to recover quickly.
Yeah.
And move on with his life.
Man, I can't even imagine. Like, you wake up and your arm's just gone.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. But, and all because you couldn't find a bathroom.
All because the bathroom line was too long. He couldn't have held it.
Yeah.
Like, another, like, 5 minutes. Like,
come on. Yeah.
Like, 5 minutes was the difference between him and his arm.
Yeah. See, these are the things you got to think of as an adult. I want to bring this to classrooms all across the country. Or at least in Florida.
Don't drink, kids, or you're going to lose an arm to an alligator. They're like, we live in Pennsylvania, but still.
Well, in case you go to Florida.
Right.
Watch out.
It reminds me of that clip, you can have an aneurysm on a toilet. It's like the same energy.
Anybody can kill you. You can slip and fall in a banana peel. You can get in a car wreck. You can fall off a bridge.
You could have an aneurysm on a toilet. You never know.
That's right.
That's rich in like 5-10 years. Like giving motivational speeches. You could have an aneurysm on the toilet.
You could have your hand.
You could fall into the schuylkill and get eaten by a radioactive fish.
You could have your arm eaten by gators in Florida. You
That's
never
right.
know. Yeah. All right. I've researched odd news now for 10 plus years. I have seen weird butterfly effects.
He's seen the worst that society has to offer. There is no corner of this world that is safe in Rich's eyes. It's all just tragedy and danger everywhere.
Especially Florida.
Especially Florida.
Florida's very dangerous. At least have a buddy system.
Right.
In
exactly.
Florida.
Exactly.
Please.
You
For
need
the love of
chaperones.
God. Yes. Jeez. We don't want anyone else losing an arm.
No. Oh, man.
Yeah. So, true story there in Florida. But you know what? I got time for one more. Why not?
Yeah.
We got time for one more odd news story here. This one, we're going to Kentucky.
Okay. We don't really go to Kentucky.
No.
We were just talking about it earlier. It was a sign.
Yes, that's right.
Because my question was like, what's in Kentucky? I don't think there's anything there. You said there's like the city like Lexington.
There's Lexington.
Okay.
That's all I can think of.
What's that? And Louisville?
Louisville. Woo.
Okay. Again, like basketball.
Yeah, take that.
College basketball at that.
Well, there's also this odd news story here.
Okay.
And the first sentence, it's one of those stories, the first sentence just gives it all away, but it's so good. A Kentucky man confirmed that he shot his roommate in the butt after the victim ate the final Hot Pocket in the freezer, according to cops.
Sure, I'm going to bring a Hot Pocket to bed tonight then.
How dare you?
That is an offense worth shooting someone over.
Sure, I'm going to bring a Hot Pocket to bed tonight then.
Yeah, there you go.
Can you imagine? You're getting ready to
how dare you?
To cozy up with your Hot Pocket. You're going to get under the blankets. You got your Hot Pocket. You're ready. And then you realize somebody's eating your Hot Pocket.
Yeah, you can't bring it to bed.
Sure, I'm going to bring a Hot Pocket to bed tonight then.
Yeah.
You know, I've not had a Hot Pocket since that story. Every time I go to the grocery store, I'm like, oh, Hot Pockets. I never get them, but I'm going to get one.
Because of the sound clip I pulled?
I don't know if it's because of the sound
scarred.
clip. I don't. Maybe
you're scarred from the sound clip I pulled.
I think it may just be a coincidence, but I'm going to get Hot Pockets.
Yeah.
Next time, I'm going to get specifically.
Yeah. I don't want to stop you from eating Hot Pockets. You go grab Hot Pockets.
I used to eat so many Hot Pockets in college.
In bed.
Yes.
Sure, I'm going to bring a Hot Pocket to bed tonight then.
Yeah.
But that is so tragic that somebody ate his Hot Pocket.
Yeah,
as somebody who ate a lot of Hot Pockets, I think they're pretty tasty. If somebody ate my last Hot Pocket, I'd be pissed too.
Yeah, how dare you?
You're getting ready for a good like pepperoni and cheese Hot Pocket. You open the freezer and they're just gone.
Yeah.
Heartbreak.
According to the police report, 64-year-old Clifton Williams.
Wait, did you say how old?
64. People don't grow up.
No, they don't.
No,
They don't. Doesn't matter how old. People still getting pissed over Hot Pockets.
How dare
microwave
you.
food.
64-year-old Clifton William got into the argument on Saturday evening in the Louisville residence that they share. The victim stated that Mr. Williams got mad that he ate the last Hot Pocket in the refrigerator, according to the police.
Sure, I'm going to bring a Hot Pocket to bed tonight then.
First, he must be a really angry 64-year-old. He pulled up tiles from the kitchen and threw them at him first.
Whoa, what?
This guy turned into the Hulk.
This dude's literally like Hulk smash, like ripped up the ground.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
He threw kitchen tiles at him.
How in the hell?
Wow, that's impressive.
That might be the biggest display of anger we've ever had on the podcast. Like, we've seen some...
Yeah.
He's so mad. There's so many things to throw in a kitchen.
And he chooses the tile.
Like, just look out in the kitchen. There's so many things to throw. But he, digs his hands into the ground, rips up a tile. They must have been loose. But I mean, even still.
Right, they have to be somewhat loose.
But
still, that's impressive, yes.
That's wild.
So that was his first weapon. That was his first weapon
and
of choice.
that wasn't good enough.
No, because the victim then did try to fight back and threw punches.
Okay.
And then that's when he pulled out a handgun and shot him
in the butt.
The butt. Wow. So I guess he must have turned. You know what? He must have tried to run.
The victim was like, "This guy's throwing tiles. I can't bring fists to a tile fight." So he's just gonna hightail it out of there, and that's when he shoots him right in the butt.
Right. Yeah. So he did get shot, but the roommate was able to flee the house and get help from a neighbor.
So the roommate was like, wait, hold on. The roommate, which roommate? The shooter or the shootee?
Yeah, the victim.
Okay.
He
so
was
he
able to
get out.
He was able to get out and get to a neighbor.
Well, he had Hot Pocket energy.
Both of these guys have weird power-ups. The one guy has...
He's ripping tiles out of the floor. The other guy's like, I just got shot, but I'm going to sprint to the neighbor's house.
Yeah, the one guy has super Hot Pocket adrenaline, and the other one has Hot Pocket rage.
Hot Pocket adrenaline, Hot Pocket rage. I like it.
Yeah, this is crazy times here.
Hot Pockets make people do crazy things.
Yep. Police arrived. They were able to take the victim to the University of Louisville Hospital and recovered from his injuries. Williams, on the other hand, was arrested and charged with felony assault.
You know where you can't get Hot Pockets?
Yeah, not in prison.
Prison, that's right.
Yep. So he's going to have to think about that. No more Hot Pockets for him in jail. He's being held in lieu of a $7,500 bond at the Jefferson County Jail.
All that over a Hot Pocket. They're like $4. You get a box of 2.
Yep. All because of the last Hot Pocket.
Sure, I'm going to bring a Hot Pocket to bed tonight then.
Yep.
I'm about to stop by CVS and buy myself a Hot Pocket. Do they have any 24-hour CVS's open anymore?
Yeah, is that a thing? I don't know.
I think they turned the
lights off.
Yeah. It used to be 24 hours. You could go get Hot Pockets any time of the day.
Well, alas, no more.
When's the last time you had a Hot Pocket?
Probably.
They're better than people realize. Couple months?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're good. They go on sale. I'll grab a couple. Yeah.
They're tasty.
Yeah. That's a quick, easy.
They're quick, easy. If you want to burn a couple layers off of your tongue, great way to do that as well. They're always like molten lava on the inside.
Yeah. But I wouldn't shoot somebody in the butt over it. No. Or throw tiles.
Throwing tiles.
I've heard of throwing fists. I never heard of throwing tiles.
That is truly unique. Like, occasionally a tile gets loose, but that's one. Okay, so tiles get loose. But, did he memorize where the loose tiles are in case he needs to throw them at people?
He has a little diagram. All right.
Because
if there's an intruder in the house, I'm going to go to this location.
The way you read that story makes it seem like he just, bent down, ripped a tile up, and chucked it at the guy.
It says he threw kitchen tiles.
Or was he down on the ground where's the loose one? Where's the loose one?
I don't know. I think he didn't have enough time to do so.
The other thing that gets me, if you're in a any kitchen, just pick any human being's kitchen. There's so many throwables. At any given time, there's something out. Think about your own kitchen. There's probably so many things you can just pick up and hurl at somebody.
Yep.
But he went with tiles.
Tile.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. And look, that's impressive he was able to pull them.
Yeah.
And just chuck them. At 64.
Yeah, that's right. This is 64.
Yeah.
I just there's two old guys fighting over Hot Pockets. People do not ever grow up.
No. That's what we've learned from this story and Succession.
Yeah. Yes. To tie it all together, perfect.
Yeah, tie it all together. People don't grow up sometimes. That's the ultimate lesson. Hopefully that's what you've learned here on the Crispy Noodle podcast.
Life lessons.
Yeah. Honorary What Have We Learned segment. Yeah. Yeah, we used to do
That's a
those.
segment I miss.
Yeah.
That was a good time.
Yeah. I'll play this too. Why not?
What did we learn, Palmer?
I don't know, sir.
I don't know either. I guess we learned not to do it again.
Yes, sir.
I'm if I know what we did.
So there you go. Hopefully you've learned not to do what we just did or what we covered.
They've been enlightened.
Yes. So there you go. On that note, we got to start wrapping this episode up. Thank you guys for tuning in and following our crazy antics. If you like what you heard, make sure you go to our website, thecrispynoodle.com. Make sure you follow us on all the social media platforms, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. But more importantly, make sure you have a consistent way to get our podcast sent to you every Wednesday night, whether it is through YouTube, where you just go to our YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button and it'll be sent right to your YouTube account. It could be on Facebook. You can watch us right on Facebook with Facebook Watch. Just tune it. Just open up Facebook and find the Crispy Noodle podcast page, and you'll get the latest episode there. Or on Spotify, where you get the video podcast on Spotify, but also since you can listen to Spotify in the background, you can listen to us as an audio-only podcast and bring us on the go with you through Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. So there's plenty of ways to take the show with you on the go or enjoy it at home with a Hot Pocket.
Always with a Hot Pocket.
Whatever way you like to enjoy your podcast of choice.
I mean, did you guys know that the Crispy Noodle is served best with Hot Pockets? You should try it out.
Yeah. Crispy Hot Pocket.
Ooh, that sounds good.
That sounds good, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Make it happen, Hot Pocket Company.
Do it.
Anyway.
Do it!
So many ways to check out the Crispy Noodle podcast and have Hot Pockets, but if you need to get in touch with us individually to share your sports, entertainment, or odd news stories, you can find us individually on Twitter. I'm at Mikey Costanzo, MikeyCostanzo.
And I am at Rich Liebig, RichLiebig. Find us on Twitter. Let us know what is happening. What did you think of Succession and Barry? Because I will talk at length about both of those shows.
Oh, yeah.
Also, make sure to watch the 24-hour game show marathon this weekend. I will be on it. So go to gameshowmarathon.com and donate and watch the craziness starting 12 noon on this Saturday, Eastern Standard Time, and going to 12 noon on Sunday, Eastern Standard Time. So there you go. That will do it. Anything else, Mike?
No, I think I'm good. I'm going to go get some Hot Pockets.
There you go. Well, Hot Pockets away. But for right now, that'll do it. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys
later. Bye-bye, all you fine peoples. Good night.
Some of us have great stories, pretty stories that take place at lakes with boats and friends and noodle salad. A lot of people, that's their story. Good times, noodle salad.